Hello everyone, I am Prerna from Indian Folk and I am going to be speaking about my article, The Unsustainable Impact of the Fashion Industry. The fashion industry is ever growing, standing at a valuation of over $1.78 trillion, out of which the apparel industry alone is worth around $1.4 trillion. A term that is becoming widely popular in today's fashion world is fast fashion, the mass production of inexpensive products. Despite the convenience that fast fashion extends, the fashion industry is extremely detrimental to the environment and ultimately to human well-being. The industry is considered as one of the most polluting industries, contributing to the climate change crisis, water pollution, soil degradation, waste accumulation, and much more. Fashion companies have also been accused of exploiting the cheap labor and committing human rights violations in developing countries like India, China, Bangladesh in order to carry out their production. Let us go more in depth into the impact that fashion industry has on the environment. One of the most harmful impacts that fashion industry has is on our vital resource, water. Water is a very critical resource and has been depleting over the years. And production of clothes requires major freshwater consumption. The fashion industry itself represents more than 1/10 of the water used by all industries. With so many places being water stressed, we need to consider how water is being used. The industry is also one of the most leading causes for increasing water pollution. Textile treatment and dyeing account for almost 20% of industrial water pollution. In many countries, especially developing nations, toxic wastewater from textile factories are dumped directly into the rivers without the due treatment process. This wastewater contains dangerous materials like lead, mercury, arsenic, among many others, which are extremely harmful not only to aquatic life but also to the health of the people living along the riverbanks, leading to many chronic diseases and illnesses. All this contamination ultimately reaches the seas and oceans and have a lasting impact on the water bodies of the world. Now, climate change is something that is becoming increasingly relevant in today's world, and fashion industry does have an impact on it. The global fashion industry emits tons of greenhouse gases through its production, manufacturing, and transportation of the millions of garments that are produced and purchased each year. The industry accounts for 10% of carbon emissions globally, and this is not a small number. Each year, thousands of hectares of forests are cut down to make way for plantations of trees used to make wood-based fabrics such as rayon, viscose, and modal, harming the balance of the ecosystem. After the raw material stage, the energy used in manufacturing, transporting, packaging, and selling a garment add on to the emissions that this industry gives out. And the climate impact continues even after the garment is no longer in use. So these are a few ways that the fashion industry has impacted climate change. What is being done about it? According to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, emissions from textile manufacturing are projected to skyrocket by 60% if the industry continues to do business as usual. With increasing awareness and pressure from consumers, fashion stakeholders, including leading fashion brands and NGOs, created the Fashion Industry Charter for Climate Change in 2018. This is done under the United Nations. With the vision to achieve net zero emissions by 2050, they work towards identifying ways in which the industry can move towards a more sustainable future for fashion. This is a good step, and such initiatives will show the more sustainable future for fashion. Fast fashion has led to clothes becoming more and more disposable. More clothes are being purchased, however, they get worn fewer times and are disposed rather than repaired as they are so inexpensive. In this manner, the amount of textile waste is increasing at a much faster rate. Barely 20% of the fabrics get recycled at all, with most used apparel going into landfills or being incinerated. Synthetic fibers like polyester comprise of 72% of our clothing. As they are fundamentally plastic in nature, they are non-biodegradable and can take up to 200 years to decompose. This significantly contributes to the increasing plastic pollution. Now, the problem of waste accumulation can be combated by introducing the concept of a circular economy. A circular economy is a system that reduces waste by continual usage of resources and promotes repair, regeneration, recycling and reuse of material and product. So this is just one of the ways in which the impact of fashion industry can be reduced. There are many more ways and consumers are vital to reducing the impact. Consumers can do research on the companies that they buy apparel from and make sure that the brands that they are using are sustainably sourced and do not have as much of an impact on the earth. Even industries should be actively involved in making changes in their process. Slowly, consumers and industries can reduce the harmful impact of fashion industries. Thank you, and for more such videos, please do watch Indian Folk.